What we do here is go back.
And hopefully we are live. It's probably a little bit dark, but don't worry about that. Just the last bit of the sunshine coming through the back window here, but hopefully you can see me and hear me. Let me know if you can, if there's any echo or anything like that. Viali says yay, Dave Aitken says hello. Aletta says everything looks fine, we hear you and see you, excellent. Hello Skystalker, hello Nick Barnes, Joe Barnes, Lauren Barnes, Rasher, Aletta, everyone else. Michael Ellingham, Matthew Day. Yep, all good and all in sync, excellent. All right, let's check out the overhead. That should be, yep, that looks okay.
What we do here is go back.
Yeah, everything looks to be working, which is remarkable. Well, I'm struggling with my words today. Which is remarkable due to the fact that this PC has been rebuilt basically in the last 3 hours, and then all the software reinstalled, reconfigured, and all that usual jazz. So some of you may, well, you probably haven't noticed actually, gone back to an AMD system. So yeah, the ever-changing roles that PCs do in this household. So my main PC's gone back to Intel for the video editing. Yeah, long story that one. So in order to have a little bit of balance and obviously keep my hand in with AM5 as well, I figured the stream PC should really be AM5, can't have both of them being Intel. So I ripped out my Intel system which was in there today, went to do a reboot, thought I'd cleaned up all the drivers, but no, had the dreaded no disk found. So it's like, oh, I'll just nuke it. So wiped it, started again, reinstalled everything, and hopefully it's going to be okay. So the video editing PC is still Intel. So that is with the Intel Core Ultra 265K. And now on here, I've gone back to the Ryzen 7700, the non-X variant, because it's just a great chip. The 7700, I think, is going to go down as being one of the goated chips, very much like probably the Ryzen 5 2600 and the 3600. It's kind of one of those chips, the 7700. Fantastic price, and yeah, it works very well. So yeah, I'm not sure how much delay there is actually on the chat. It seemed like the stream took an absolute age to get live, so I don't know. For me here now, actually, what time is it on there? It's 20:22 time-wise, so 22 minutes past 8. What time is it when I actually say this? I'll be interested to see how far behind it actually is, whether it's just a few seconds or whether it's a minute or so. Let me know. Dutch Jan says it's 21:22. All right, okay, so not too bad. Seemed like it's taken ages to actually get the stream in. Rashers 2022. Excellent. Okay. Skystalker says, yeah, Ryzen 7700 is the GOAT. I think it really is. It is a great processor. It really is. It sips power. It's very good for gaming. Regardless of what GPU, you can put the top of the range graphics card in if you want to, and it's probably not going to show too much of a strain. And of course, it's a fantastic price over on AliExpress, or at least it is when there's sales on, normally around about 140 to 160 pounds, depending on what time of the year you're getting it, but it's a lot of processor for the money, it really is. Thank you, Nicholas. What's that, 322. Awesome. Victor says, legit was looking at this case on Amazon last night. Yes, so the stream tonight, obviously, hello, welcome, hopefully you're all okay, etc, etc. It's been a mad day today. I've actually, just as a brief recap, so in the stream, not last week, I think it was the week before, we did the build for the AM4 system, the 5600, with the Intel B580 graphics card. And I said at the time I was waiting because I'd placed an order for an RX 6800, which we saw in, I think, last week's stream, which I repasted. So, is that all it was? A week? It seems like much longer. Anyway, so yeah, that PC had been listed up on Facebook Marketplace for £600, which is what it kind of needed to be, really. Otherwise, I was just giving it away. And I had a few offers during the week. Someone said, if I give you £550, I'll come later on. And it was one of those days where I had things on. It's like, well, I can't really do it today. I'll message you or something. And I messaged him back and didn't hear anything. So I thought, well, okay, whatever. You get people like that who just want a PC. They want it then. They don't care what it costs, but they just want it and that's it. And if they can't get it, they'll just move on and buy something else. Just because they have to fulfill that need, you know, that shopping urge, which I know, we all get it. But anyway, so got a message in the week. This guy, I think he was from possibly Cardiff.
It's at Newport.
Newport, was it?
Yeah.
Right, well, I didn't know. Yes, come over from Newport over in South Wales. He basically messaged me during the week. I think I'm not too sure where he was from originally, but he wasn't a Welsh person, let's put it that way. I'm guessing maybe Greek, possibly. I don't know. Anyway, regardless. So yeah, he messaged at the beginning of the week, or earlier on in the week, said, can I come and collect it on Saturday? Is it still available? So, well, yeah, if I still got it, you can get it, no problem. And a couple of other people messaged, and I thought, well, they're all offering like a bit less or a lot less. And I'm thinking, I'll just ignore it all. If he still wants it on Saturday, fantastic. So, messaged him this morning, got up nice and early, and said, do you still want the PC? No, actually, no, this was last night. Messaged him and said, do you still want the PC? We're on for tomorrow. He's like, yeah, perfect, no problem. I'll be there about 11 o'clock. So I got up a bit earlier so I could get the PC, because I normally box the PCs up and have it all kind of packed away. So I got up a bit earlier so I could get up, have some breakfast, cup of tea, all that kind of stuff. Set the PC up in the other room so we could see it working. So I got this done by about 10 o'clock-ish, then kind of waiting around. Purchased my Windows license key from premiumcdkeys.com. Shameless plug. Which one is it? That one there. Shameless plug. So that cost me about £2.80, I think, for a Windows license key.
£2.81.
Love it. £2.81. I was close.
You saved 31p with your discount
Oh yeah,
code.
31 pence off with the discount code mikesunboxing. I use my discount code. Yeah, why not? Might as well. I'm sure there's something you're not allowed to do with that if you're an affiliate, but whatever. We've been putting a lot of sales through them anyway, so obviously, as you'd expect, for £3 for a license key, people obviously want to use it, so they do. Anyway, put it on there, left it all running. He turned up, lovely guy, fantastic. It was for his son's 11th birthday, which was, I believe, today. So if you're watching for any bizarre reason, happy birthday. And I said, have you got all the things? He didn't have a Wi-Fi. Well, they had a Wi-Fi card, which they're going to transfer. So we discussed how to put that into the PC. He had a keyboard, mouse and all that. And I actually had one of those Game Max 4-in-1 bundles next to the desk. And I was like, oh, I could get rid of that, actually. I'm like, do you want a keyboard and mouse, a new set? And he's like, oh, no, he's all right. He's got all that. So, all right, no worries. So, done the money transfer, took it out to the car, or helped him to get it to the car. And coming back in, got a message, how much for the headset? And this is the headset which is included in the 4-in-1 bundle. It's like, well, free. So then I just grabbed it again, walked to the front door, and he went back to knock on the door. And I opened it. It's like, there you go, thank you very much, happy birthday. So yeah, that was great. Nice to get rid of a PC to someone who's going to actually enjoy it and use it, and nice to get rid of one of those GameMax setups. So hopefully he'll be sat around in the corner playing his games and not disturbing his parents, which is pretty good. So yeah, I think it's done quite well. I've only sold 2 PCs this month technically, although I know we were into the new month, but it was listed from the last month, so I kind of include it in last month's figures, although technically on the tax return it'll go on this month's figures. But yeah, so 2 PCs sold last month, which isn't brilliant, but it is the summer holidays, so I was expecting somewhat of a lull. Around about payday you always get the inquiries, so I figured this one would be great, get it done like mid-month, get it ready for the towards the end of the month when payday happens. And yeah, that seems to have worked out quite well. Dave, can you stop that please? Can you stop preening yourself whilst I'm trying to convey a message of hope of PC sales?
I'm talking to cats. Flame is 13th birthday on Thursday.
Yeah, Flame was 13 years young this week. Bless him. I remember when he was only like that big. That big. When I had to grab Maisie out of a bush when she was being, well, abused by another cat, let's say.
She was only a year old.
She was only a year old. I wasn't going to say.
Brian, wasn't it?
I wasn't going to say something, but I won't do. Hey, old Bob. Hey, David Underhill. Hey, Sinister Chef. Andy Archer. How you doing? Aletta.
Mike forgets to take them off, David.
Pomero. Thanks, Mike. Bought 2 keys. Windows 11 Pro. Good. All works straight away. Now, for those of you who are watching, I think most of you probably know this already, but if you are buying Windows license keys, at the moment, you can actually buy the Windows 10 Pro OEM or retail keys, and they will activate Windows 11. Now, for some reason, they charge more for Windows 11 keys. I don't understand it. I've asked them about it. They say the keys cost them more to buy in. Whether that's true or not, I honestly don't know. I'll take them at their face value. But if you are considering buying a key, if you want to get a Windows 11 professional license, you can use a Windows 10 professional key. So just wanted to make you aware of that, just in case you are possibly spending more than you need to. So I think there is a significant difference between the 2 prices. So at the moment, and whilst it lasts, you can activate Windows 11 Professional with a Windows 10 Professional key, which is a lot cheaper. Hello, Dave.
He's leaning right back to look at me.
Weirdo. Hey, Pete Unwin, how you doing? Hey, Kenny D, good to see you. Sinister Chef says, hope you're both well. Oh yeah, we're not too bad, I think. We're making some marked improvements in our dietary habits. We've been living and eating basically rubbish for ages. We go through these phases where we go down to the shops and we get all the yellow sticker items, like the reduced items, because they're short dated or whatever. And we end up buying that crap. And you get to a point where you do it for just too long and you just think, this is not doing me any good. So we're trying to eat more healthily again. Doesn't always work out, but at least we're doing kind of real foods now. So we're buying chicken and beef and what have you, and we're having it with like proper potatoes, either homegrown or just potatoes that we take the skins off ourselves and make either mash or roast potatoes, whatever, vegetables either from the garden or from the shops, and prepared properly, you know. Don't know how long it's going to last, but we'll see what happens. You never know. So lots of interesting things happening around the world at the moment in the technology space. There's some... I go back to my pet hate. I hate tech news channels. I kind of like them to some extent, maybe 1 or 2, but the majority of them I just hate because it's just regurgitating existing news. It's like mainstream TV news. It's like you listen to one channel, you've listened to them all, basically. But it seems there's going to be a Radeon RX, possibly 195, I think it's going to be, XTX, or like a, yeah, I'm not too sure of the naming schemes. I think the naming schemes are temporary. There's going to be like a 900 class card, a 700 class card, and maybe a 500 class card. But it's going to be the Radeon 100 series, or 10,000 series, however you want to look at it. It's all a little bit peculiar, but apparently the top end one is supposed to have 32 gigs of RAM and is aiming to beat the RTX 6090, which isn't out yet. So yes, lots of potential weirdness going on in the market. AMD are riding the wave at the moment, it seems, with processors. So maybe they can do something in the graphics market. I don't think they will. And if they do try and do it, they'll probably stuff it up by charging too much. But that is the way we go. Yes, Kath?
Dutch Jan's got a question.
Dutch Jan has a question.
And Nero says, Mike, did you see that you now need ID for ordering a pizza? We're
Wow.
getting pizzas then.
There it goes. No pizzas
We
for us.
try and avoid those big
Yeah.
store Just Eats and all that. We try and go direct to the shops themselves now.
Yeah.
They don't like
Question, third time's a charm, Mike. Does YouTube allow you to advertise Rumble?
Dunno,
I
but
don't
push
think
the
so.
button.
I don't think you're actively supposed to do that. There are things in the YouTube terms and conditions of like the basically things that you can and can't do. I don't think it's a hard fast rule that they would get upset.
Yeah.
But I know there used to be some controversy a while back when people were streaming on YouTube but advertising Twitch. That was definitely seen as being a bad thing at one point. And I know some creators did get into, not grief, but they were warned against it. So, I honestly don't know.
Push the button anyway.
I pushed the button anyway, so we'll see what happens. We're in their bad books anyway, so arguably it couldn't get much worse, although it obviously could. It's quite interesting actually, because YouTube seems to now be throttling our, well, they have been doing it for a while now. They've been throttling our shorts feed as well. So if we release a video, it will do like 600 views in a couple of hours easily. And then it just literally flatlines for about another hour, 2 hours. And then it will do like another 600 views in about quarter of an hour, 20 minutes. And then it will get cut off again. So I did a video yesterday, a brief short for Thermal Take. It's only like I think it was a 20-second short, if that. And yeah, launched it within the first kind of few seconds of it going out. There's like 100 views, which is pretty much unheard of on our channel. Very, very quick responses. And yeah, it was just flying up. And it was like, I was going to Catholic. I was refreshing the page and it was going up like 10s, 20s, 30s at a time, which is like really, really weird. That never happens.
Not to us anyway.
And then literally it got to, I think it was 700, 800 views. It might have been 600, I'm not too sure, but it was something like that. And it was like, and that's it. And literally, you could see just a complete flatline. It's like, well, how does that even happen? Like, even in the weirdest of circumstances where you think, well, okay, enough people have seen it on their shorts feed. It was sent out to subscribers as well. So you think we've got like over 100,000 subscribers. You think that like 1 or 2 people may just read their notifications and go, oh, sure, and click on it. The probability of that happening, I would imagine, is pretty high. At least one person. But nothing, like zero views for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure the exact time, but I think it was about an hour. It's like, how can you possibly have a video which appears to be this popular, literally flatline for an hour with no views at all? Not even like, you could think like AI would track it, or like the spied AI bots or the search engine bots would pick it up once or twice, and those sometimes count as views as well. But to get nothing at all, and then all of a sudden it just to go rocket off again, it's like, why are they doing that? Anyway,
There's a question from
it's a very bizarre
Old
thing.
Bob.
Old Bob has a question. Let's see if I can see that far. Old Bob's question: would putting an AMD 9800X3D into an Asus TUF Gaming B650 Plus Wi-Fi be a bad thing? I'm not interested in Wi-Fi 7 or Gen 5 for GPUs. Well, no, it wouldn't be a bad thing. It's for gaming purposes, it's probably the best chip you could put in there that is currently available. With the 7800, you could probably get in there as well, but I guess the 9800 would make more sense. It's probably closer in price now, unless you're buying used or from AliExpress or something. But no, I would say that's absolutely fine. It's potentially unnecessary, depending on the games you play and the resolutions you play, one of those words. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's it will work in there. It's fine. You'll probably need to do a BIOS update first of all, though, I would say, before you make the old switcheroo.
Stalker asked, how do you get in YouTube's bad books?
How do we get into YouTube's bad books? Well, we did a video which was a stupid video actually, which in hindsight it was my fault. There was a video for retrieving your Windows license keys, and the site that provides the technology to do it is known as a kind of a slightly dodgy site. Now, funnily enough, somebody else did the same video to the same site, and their video still stays up. So I'm not too sure what I did on that video. I'm sure it was to do with the site, but it just said it was harmful content. So I'm okay, whatever. So then I did another video recently on how to get Windows 11 Enterprise legally, how to pay for it, how to download it, and how to install it, which again, multiple other channels have done. Not in the same way, I did it slightly differently. And also I used premium CD keys, obviously, whereas they didn't. Yeah, for some reason that video was, because it was another strike within the same 90-day period as the previous one, or 30-day period, or 60, or whatever it was. Yeah, because we'd had a warning previously, we then got another thing, so we had our first official strike, which I complained about. I tried to like get them to look at it, and they looked at it and said, no, it still stands. It's like, well, there's other people with the same content, almost identical, like in terms of the theory or whatever, but yet their videos are up. So what's the deal? And they refused to answer. And they refused, actually. I actually said, are you an AI? And they tried to prove that they weren't. I'm still not too sure.
They wouldn't give us their ID.
But apparently, YouTube people, staff, are not allowed to directly talk to the team that do the takedowns and copyright stuff. They said it's impossible. We cannot do it. We cannot speak to them. I said, well, if you ask them what the problem was on the video, that will prevent me making similar mistakes later on down the line, because obviously part of the learning process. But they just don't care, and they say, no, it's impossible. It can't be done. So what can you do? You're basically, it's like when you're young, you've done something, you go inside, you sit on the sofa, then suddenly your parent comes in, smacks you around the head, and says, don't do that again.
Back in the 80s.
And you're like, what? Do what? They're like, you know, just don't do it again. It's like, well, how can you possibly learn from that? You can't. So, yeah, YouTube are idiots. Genuinely, they are. The way they manage the platform is ridiculous. But you have to play by their rules. Rules. You have to, yeah. I can't call them rules because they're not. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, it kind of is what it is. If we were a bigger channel, obviously we would have a channel manager, and you could speak to them.
10,000.
Yeah, they promised us some years ago, but it never happened. Anyway, thanks for the super chat, Rasher. It says, just wanted to take Nick off the number one spot. Also, I went into a chemist shop yesterday and asked for a deodorant. The girl said, ball or aerosol? I said, neither. It's for my armpits. Very good. So yeah, there you go. That's how we got into trouble with YouTube. It's balls. It's rubbish. How they expect people to look like, I just don't know. It bothers me. I'm very tempted to see if I can speak to someone like a human being at YouTube and just say like you don't have to find out the exact reason, but can you just clarify this for people? Because it's every time you ask them about it and you say, well, what part of the video was it? They're like, just read go to this link and read on YouTube policy. And the YouTube policy is like about 20 pages. And it's all very, very obscure kind of text in writing. It's like the new thing for swearing. It's so kind of like, it's so opaque, you just can't really understand it. Just like, well, some words are now acceptable, but some words still aren't. Some words which aren't technically a swear word are still classed as a hate speech. And it's like, what do you do as a creator? I think actually AI has probably got the right idea, because at least AI will be trained by those kind of things anyway, so it'll just say stuff. Although saying that, some AI is completely batshit crazy, so.
No, I'm not in charge. Mike is the boss of me.
I'm not. Anyway. Rubbish. Charles Ballard says migrate to Rumble. The thing is, Rumble is a very young platform. I know it's been going for a few years, but it is a very young platform. It's still really difficult. Like, if you guys are watching our videos on Rumble, thank you very much. Much appreciated. But it's really difficult to actually interact as well, because like you can't go, there's not like a Rumble studio as such, like there is with YouTube, where you can go into your comments and answer people. With Rumble, it's kind of like you get an email to say there's a comment on a video, but you don't often get an email to say there's a reply. So it kind of ends after the first thing. Rumble is really for live streaming. That is their jam. Rumble is the kind of like the live streaming platform. It's not really a video hosting platform. It did start like that, but it's kind of gone more into just basically live streaming, because that's where the money is realistically for YouTube and for Rumble, or for any platform. Look at Twitch, obviously. Live streaming is where the more money is made. Basically, you get more adverts watched per watch time per person. You also get more interaction, and also when they're doing things like your super chats and all that kind of stuff, obviously that's a big money earner for them, because it would, like 100 people watching a YouTube live stream is better than like 5,000 to 10,000 views on a YouTube video, possibly even 20,000 views. So it's a really weird setup in terms of like the monetary effect. Anyway. David O'Donnell said, years ago in Australia, Parliament ruled that using the word "see you next Tuesday" was not swearing if used in context. The thing is, the context has to be pretty profanic anyway, doesn't it? I can't imagine you slipping that word into just a general everyday sentence. Like, oh my god, the "see you next Tuesday" on the till just give me the wrong change. You don't have to be that vulgar, do you? You could do a Swix. Oh dear. Dave Venner says, Rumble is a right-wing propaganda streaming service partially owned by DJT. Well, DJT partially owns a lot of YouTube as well. So at least there's balance. Aletta says, I actually love AI and use it a lot every day. I have done. It sometimes has its uses, but sometimes it just comes out with complete nonsense. And unless you actually know the answer yourself to double check it, it's very difficult to rely on the answers. Well, I actually did one today. I was looking for the commands to do the restore boot records for the PC that crashed, and yeah, it just gave me the completely wrong information altogether. For like I think a version of Windows, it was like the 1903 rather than 24H2. It's really old. John David Sullivan says, I'd rather it was right wing rather than left wing, and I'm a centrist. Yeah, well, it's nice that there's somewhere to go for everybody, isn't it? It's
if anything happens to this one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more so, it's more of an archive for the YouTube, and also if anything happens to the platform here, we can always use Rumble, potentially. It won't be a money earner, that's for sure, but we'll see.
If any of our videos are not on Rumble, they're on Odyssey, because our earlier ones automatically.
Odyssey is also another platform that we have put content on, so if you don't want to watch it on YouTube or you don't want to watch it on Rumble, you can always go over to Odyssey as well. Probably get into trouble for that.
I think they're all linked, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, they are all linked, aren't they? They're all owned by big tech, one way or the other. Wayne Taylor says nothing wrong with right wing, at least not crazy ideology leftists have. I think in balance, there's like, ideally we should be somewhere roughly in the middle. Like if you go to the left slightly, yeah, okay. If you go to the right slightly, okay. If you go a little bit further over in either direction, that's when bad things happen. And that is unfortunately where a lot of the media is these days. A lot of media is like heavily left, a lot of media is heavily right. There's very few that are very central. But then they appeal to their markets. And because the whole world is pretty much polarized, slightly left, slightly right, it's kind of like, well, they got to please somebody, haven't they? Yeah, John Davis Sullivan says extremes are always bad. Yeah, definitely. Hey Mitch Hammond, how you doing? Do they do PC channels on OnlyFans? I don't know. That's a good point. Maybe we should just migrate to OnlyFans. Oh dear, that would be fun. Dutch Jan says, I hardly follow any tech channels anymore. You hardly see anything new. I actually agree. I agree. It's become very...
And it's not just tech.
Very mundane. It's the same in... Yeah, it's just... Yeah,
life is just so mean.
Life is like it. I think we've come to somewhat of a plateau at the moment. That there's not really a great deal of innovation. There's not really a lot going on. We've had it for probably since maybe the late 90s, when we had that real big boom. The beginning of the 2000s, it definitely tapered off in the kind of the bubble burst somewhat. And I don't think it's ever fully recovered. Yeah, you get the odd little burst. We have things like the, well, obviously you've got AI at the moment as being one of the big things. We had Bitcoin, mining, craze. Before that, we've had...
In that astrology, didn't we have Aries in Uranus for the big tech thing? And then
no idea.
Taurus in Uranus for the big depression thing.
Possibly, yeah. But yeah, it's one of those things. There was the whole home automation thing. That was very much a buzz thing in the kind of, what's that, 2010, I want to say? 2010, maybe up to about 2016. Then it all kind of started filtering out, petering out. Sky says, tech channels are getting a bit stale. Only Linus has been amusing lately. Linus has been amusing, but only because now he's got a lisp, which is partially hilarious, but are also really, really annoying after a bit of a time. Hopefully he gets that sorted out. Anton says, evening, do you have an opinion about ASRock motherboards and AMD 9 CPUs, which appear to be dying off left, right and centre? Personally, at the moment, I wouldn't buy an ASRock motherboard. Whether it's a cheap one or a top-end one or anything, I would just avoid ASRock at the moment. Much like with Intel, when they had their problems, like when Intel 13th and 14th gen processors were burning up like crazy, no one would go and buy them unless you're a little bit mad. And ASRock, I think, is the same. Linus Tech Tips. Yeah. See, ASRock have been on like a weird trajectory. They started off as being basically crap. So when they first started out in, I think 2002, I want to say, maybe 2004. I get those dates mixed up, but it was early 2000s anyway when ASRock became a thing from Asus, like basically the budget segment. And the early boards were absolutely awful. There was a AG417 GS chipset or something, which was for the socket S370, I think, at the time. And it was awful. Return rates were horrendous. Like 50% of the boards we ordered went back. It was not a good time. But they were really, really cheap. So, yeah, swings and roundabouts. And they went through a series of producing some okay boards at some reasonable prices. They generally got better. And then the AM4 boards were all generally pretty good, especially the B450s, like the B450 Pro 4s, the Steel Legends. Those are like properly like goated boards. In fact, ASRock were one of the very few in the B450 range to actually have integrated addressable RGB headers, which was a plus at the time because everyone else was stuck on RGB apart from maybe a few really high-end MSI boards. So yeah, that was great that they were doing that. B550 they did okay with as well, not too bad. Not quite as high a standard of board, unfortunately, price wise or features wise. They're a little bit lacking, but yeah, they got a little bit hyped up with their kind of Tai Chi ranges and some of the higher end Steel Legend stuff, but I think they kind of lost their way a little bit and they almost started to believe in their own hype, and I think it's done to their detriment. Like, don't get me wrong, they still have done some good boards, but I don't particularly rate ASRock as a company. Their software is awful. The polychrome sync is absolute, well, I would not install it unless I absolutely had to. That'd be one of the few times where I'd say, right, I'll use Signal RGB or something instead, or Open RGB, which I dislike even more. But polychrome sync is awful. The fan control software is also pretty bad. Basically, software is their biggest problem. But then they've also not got a particularly great platform, and they are suffering when it comes to the higher end stuff with these boards burning up or processors burning up, which, why ever it's happening, I don't know. Hopefully we find out the reason behind it. I don't think we ever will, but they'll just keep on lowering and lowering the performance of the processor or the board until the problem is mitigated, which isn't really the ideal way of doing it, but certainly I guess that is one way out of it. But yeah, I personally, I'm not keen on ASRock boards these days. If I have a list of boards, I would be probably MSI and ASUS at the top, and they kind of go between depending on what platform you're using and what you're looking at buying. The lower end ASUS I don't find to be as good, but the lower end MSI are pretty decent, whereas ASUS's mid-range and high-end boards are excellent. MSI's go a little bit crazy, eh?
Why isn't it
Asus? Don't know.
Where did you get the Z from when you pronounce it?
Well, it's because well, they made the company and they said that it's pronounced Asus, as in A, and then the god Zeus, so Z-E-U-S, Asus. That's supposed to be how it's pronounced.
Why don't they put in a Z in it then if they want it pronounced that way?
I don't know. It's marketing.
Like I'm doing my crotchet.
Yeah.
I like things how it's say it how it looks.
Armory Crate's getting better, especially on modern boards. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that as well. Armory Crate is one of those things that if you install it and it works, great. If you install it and you get problems, that's when it starts to be a pain, because it does kind of really get hooks in all parts of the operating system. Or if you're someone who swaps motherboards or components regularly, that can cause issues. But if you're just someone who buys a motherboard, processor, graphics card, you build your system and you keep it for like a couple of years, and you don't really do much to it other than maybe a SSD or a bit of extra RAM or swap out a graphics card, Asus and Armory Crate would be absolutely fine for you.
Asus, they call that.
Asus.
They're saying it's like Pegasus.
Pegasus. Asus. Anus. Yeah, so Asus, MSI, probably then Gigabyte, although I haven't had a lot of Gigabyte boards recently. The Gigabyte boards don't really grab the attention, but they're at a good price and they're generally pretty good quality. So yeah, I would say Gigabyte would be my third choice. Their software is getting better. I used to always hate that, but that seems to be getting better. The Gigabyte control center is getting better. Then I would say ASRock, and then you've got like your BioStar, your what's it called, Jinyu, and all those kind of slightly off-brand or like Chinese market boards.
Asus originates from Pegasus. Asus.
Yeah. Pegasus.
I can't even say it now because
Pegasus.
I'm too focused on that Asus at the back. Pegasus. So it's based on that, so there's no Z in it.
But it's Pegasus. Pegasus was how it's pronounced. We call it Pegasus, but there's no. It's not SIS. It's SUS. But everyone pronounces it wrong.
Concord don't get an E in the end, does it? They
look,
do Concordy.
I'm right, everyone's wrong. Let's just leave it at that. Sky says, for price and performance, MSI is hard to beat. Yeah, I think they are. Where they get a bit carried away is when they do those godlike boards and things like that. Like, yeah, it's cool to do it, but it just gives you a reputation of just being expensive, which probably isn't helpful for marketing.
Let's go ASRock. At least you can't pronounce that wrong.
Born Joker says, wow, that's a lot of Asus hate from one review from Steve. Yeah, the thing is, like any big company, Asus sell more components and motherboards and basically everything than all the other brands put together. They are number one by a massive, massive, massive margin. Yeah, you have them. I'll choke to death on those if I have those during the stream. Calf's eating my hobnobs.
I can leave you half.
No, go on, carry on. Hey J Rich, how you doing? Dave Aiken says, big question, is Nvidia Ti or Ti? I've always considered it as being Ti because Ti is short for the periodic table of titanium, which is what they used to be, GeForce titanium cards. I think the titanium line started, I might be wrong on this, but I think it was on an old, oh God, I can't even think of the era. Was it a 4600 Ti? GeForce, I think it's a 4000 series. I vaguely remember having a 4000 series card from MSI, and it had a breakout box with like a S-video connector and stuff like that. And that was the first Ti card I had. Maybe a 4060. I don't think it was. Maybe it was. 4060 Ti, possibly. I don't know. It was a long time ago. It was around the time that Need for Speed Underground came out, which would have been about 2003, 2004 maybe. That was the first time I actually remember seeing a Ti or titanium card.
Alright, so it's Ask AI, but would that be AI or would that be I?
Yeah, Ask AI or I.
I hate words. They get really deep.
Yeah, words are weird. Matthew Day says Ti at the start. Yeah, it definitely was, yeah. Oh yeah, the GeForce 2 Ti. Yeah, that would have been one, 2001. Scotty Sucker says AI won't know crap. Yeah. GeForce 256? Do they do a 256 Ti? No worries. Yeah, so yeah, there's been some interesting things in the media. Obviously, the UK age verification thing is still kind of knocking on people's doors and even trying to get on to do online ordering, apparently, from what was said in the chat earlier. If you're trying to order takeaway, it can potentially ask you. Now, I think that is a little bit of a step too far, because there's no, well, if you're ordering booze or cigarettes or anything like that, I can understand it. Age verification isn't a thing for those types of products, and I get that. But if you're just ordering a takeaway, like if it's school holidays, you're 14, 15, 16, your parents have maybe gone to the pub or whatever, you're left at home to get some takeaway to like fend for yourself a little bit, have a little bit of adult responsibility. I think ordering a takeaway is a thing. So you wouldn't need to have, or at least I don't think you should need to have specific adult verified ID to order fast food. That seems like a step too far, but it does depend what you're ordering, obviously, and potentially the amount. If you're ordering like over £100 or $100 worth of food, that's a lot of money for a kid. So I can kind of understand that side of things a little bit more. But ultimately, if you're paying for it online via bank or whatever, then yeah, I don't know. It's a strange thing. What did Glenn say? Earliest TI cards I have are... Oh, what's that? I don't understand what those signs are. 560. 560 Ti's. Nice one, Glenn. Caps lock or number lock. Wayne Taylor says, come on, MSI are sellouts not producing AMD graphics cards. The thing is, like if you look at it from a business point of view, now don't get me wrong, I would love to see MSI doing AMD graphics cards. I'd love to see them doing Intel graphics cards for that matter. Give me a Twin Frost, give me a gaming X Trio of a B580 and I'd be all over it. But unfortunately, MSI, like a lot of other manufacturers, realise that AMD cards don't sell. At least not in the numbers to make it as worthwhile as it would be. And I think they kind of, MSI got their fingers burnt a little bit with the 6000 series, especially the high-end ones. The 6900s, the 6950s, the failure rates on those were pretty high. So I think that was one of those things. And then at that point, obviously EVGA bowed out the market. It wouldn't have taken a lot at that point for somebody at Nvidia to say, look, we are the richest company in the world. You doing that? Would you like to just sell our graphics cards and we'll make it worth your while? Like, for a business decision, I can understand it. Again, I don't agree with it. It'd be nice to have choice, but ultimately, MSI as a company, they're a business. They are in the market to make money and to keep going. And obviously, if they risk any of that in any way, shape or form, then they can no longer support us because they don't exist. So yeah, it's not a clear-cut thing, but I do understand the decision completely. And I think if it was another company in the same position, like, I think ASUS have made the right decision of doing both. Because ASUS don't have to. They could quite easily just say, right, okay, we'll just do Nvidia cards, because that is 80% of the market. So it makes sense for us to do it. But I think they're in a position where they're selling so much volume that even if Nvidia said, look, we only really want you to do these, they'll turn and say, well, sorry, we just sell like everything. So that's what we're going to continue doing. But it's a strange thing. Dutch Jan says, I call that blackmail. It is blackmail. Well, it's not blackmail really. It kind of is, but it isn't. It's an incentive. It's if somebody offers you an incentive to do something, it's your choice to do it. It's not necessarily blackmail, is it? Although they may have turned around and said, look, if you don't do this, then we're going to make some other company our primary supplier and put you further at the back of the list, which I don't think they do, because MSI do sell a lot of graphics cards as well. But anyway. That's one that we can certainly debate. O'Reilly says you will still end up with your open source VPNs and everyone will just have a Linux style black box if you are a geek. Yeah, I think there is. I did see that news article saying that for people outside of the UK, if you haven't seen it, there was a discussion with, I believe, Parliament about trying to, or this potential to ban VPNs in the UK. Which obviously, the moment you hear that as a news headline, you immediately know that it's nonsense. Because there's no way on the planet that you could ban a VPN. Because the thing is, if you're using a VPN, how would they know you're using a VPN? That's the whole point. So it's like one of those ridiculous things of like, I don't know how they would even...
Do they work, or do they just give you a false sense of security that you think they're working?
Well, they kind of do, because they make it look like you're in a different geolocation.
But is it privacy-fied or not?
No, it's not privacy. Well, arguably it's supposed to be. But depending on the country that you're passing through, they may be required to store logs. And the thing is, ultimately, even if you're using a VPN, your ISP comes before your VPN. Because your ISP is your main gateway. However you look at it.
I didn't quite finish them. I had about half.
She's had about half the pack.
Old Bob. Oh, sorry.
Old Bob.
Old Bob.
So yeah, I think it's absolutely bizarre to even, for someone to even say, like, I'd imagine it's one of those sound bites, isn't it, where somebody was talking, they don't really quite understand the technology, and they don't know how many people throughout the world use VPNs for both legitimate business uses or for privacy matters or whatever. There's a lot of people that work from home which use a VPN and they don't even know they're using it because it's built into the company laptop that they plug in and it creates a secure tunnel. Like things like Tailscale and stuff like that sort of thing that's all tunneling, which people use for legitimate reasons, maybe to access their NAS from remote locations, etc. So to turn around and say, like, just ban VPNs seems like a rather stupid thing to say, but it's one of those great sound bites which the media can pick up on and just run with it, because they know exactly what's going to happen, that people will read the comment and say, well, you can't possibly do that, you idiots.
Yeah,
And it
probably-
generates
probably
conversation and
just-
conflict, so they
A
love
lot
it.
of people believe all that news, don't they? And they think that puts people off bothering.
Rasha says they know if VPN is used. The they is the questionable part of that comment. Military tech is years ahead of general use tech. I believe it would be better than what is in everyday use, but the they is the big question. Like, they know if VPN is used. Well, the thing is, if they know that VPN is used, depending on who the they is, like if the they includes like the big tech conglomerates like Amazon, Twitch, Netflix, etc., then they don't, because VPNs still work to get access to content which you're not supposed to get in your country. So it depends who the they is. Like if you're talking like deep state sort of stuff, then yeah, potentially. But then deep state aren't going to come around to your door, knock on your door because you're 15 or 16 or an adult male and you just want to look at porn sites. Like realistically, they're not going to do that. But anyway. Yeah, Sky says there, when working in government, use VPN before we work at home. Exactly. Arani says, in Western countries like the UK, big tech does not monitor all internet traffic, so no, they don't know you're using a VPN. I guess they could find out if you're using a VPN, because like obviously the easiest way would be to check your bank account. Are you paying money to XYZ VPN company every month?
Plus,
If you are, then it's pretty obvious you're using a VPN.
that then brings you into that other story that was shared in our Discord about electric companies charging higher earners.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
How would they know without having access to your bank account?
Yeah.
Which is what they want, isn't it?
Born Joker says, if the deep state gave a crap about petty stuff, there wouldn't be any criminals left. Yeah, I know. It's there was a time during the pandemic where YouTube and Facebook and all the big tech were shutting down anybody who disagreed with the main narrative completely. All of that stuff was completely erased off of platforms. But yet somehow they can't get rid of kiddie fiddlers. Just makes you wonder, doesn't it? Anyway, let's move on from that. That's been one of those things that always has narked me. Like, they can stop you seeing some sort of content, but they can't stop people seeing other types of content. It really makes you wonder where their priorities lie.
And why is it all done? Why do they think it's all done online?
Yeah.
When there is a real world out there as well.
Right, okay. So, I think I've rabbited on for way too long already. Thank you all, though. There's been some interesting and thought-provoking comments there, which is what we always like to see. Let's have a look at this case.
Oh, but you can't disturb Dave.
Oh, Dave's asleep on it now.
Take him over.
You'll have to come back next week. Sorry. Actually, there's a label on the side with my address on, so I should remove
Thanks,
that.
Dave. Otherwise, it'd been up and on there.
Yeah. Has it got our address on it? Yes, it has. Twice, in fact. Why has it got two labels? That's greedy. Oh, gone through.
One had to show which bank account you had.
Yeah, one of them was
One's
because
verified ID.
one of them went for a VPN. Right, Dave.
Oh,
What?
poor Joker thought that you were ending it.
No. Right, Dave. Let's move you over there, mate. There you go. Go and have a sleep on there. Sit on my chair.
Big boss boy Dave.
You can sit in the big boss boy chair.
See, I told you he was boss of me.
I'll tell you who's the boss of me. Bloody everybody. Right.
But not me.
Let's get some extra light on. Mind your eyes. So, here we have the Tecware Timber TG High Airflow ATX PC case, or TG case, I should say, with a real wood front panel. Don't know what sort of wood it is, but we will investigate that as we go through. 2 USBs on the front. You also got USB Type-C. Doesn't say whether it's 5 gigabit or 10 gigabit, but it's USB Type-C nonetheless. Get 4 included fans, and also there is a top and bottom dust filter. Well, you'd hope so. Dimensions, they are in the chat anyway, I've written in there, but just as a overview of that, which hopefully you can just about see. I might have to zoom on that. Try not to get space sick.
You wear a lumberjack shirt, Mike. You should when you unbox it on the real video.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm alright.
Just for it.
So, what have we got? So, 2 3.5 inch bays, 2 2.5 inch bays, 7 PCI expansion slots. Yeah, that's interesting. The front fans, 3 120s included, or you can install 3 140s. That's kind of nice. Or potentially 2 160s. So, if you see the fact that it fits 2 times 160mm fans, and the box comes in a brown box like this, then who do you think this case is actually made by? I will give you a few minutes to deliberate, but you can, if you want to, Google which case comes with 160mm fans. And you've seen it on the channel before, so some of you will probably know.
I don't know who's made this.
Who?
Because it's in the title of your video.
No, who's manufactured it?
Oh, okay.
Is anyone going to guess it? Has anyone put it in there yet?
Aye.
Lee and Lee. Yep. I reckon it's Leanne Lee. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Leanne Lee case. So at the top we've got options for 3 120s, pretty standard stuff. 2 140s, and the bottom you've got an optional 1 times 120. PSU shroud can also take 2 120mm fans. So you can put 3 120mm fans along the bottom, because the PSU shroud and the bottom are kind of, there's a gap between them. Support and clearance, 400mm for the GPU, 181 for the CPU cooler, that's pretty decent. 260 max PSU length, that's pretty decent as well. And it supports ATX, micro ATX and ITX motherboards. Radiator clearance, you've got 360 at the front, and in the top you've got 360 or 280. And the full case dimensions, so it's 456 millimeters in length, 235 millimeters in width, and 450 millimeters in height. So it's actually relatively compact. I think that's pretty much all of the information off the box, so let's get this thing opened and see what it's all about.
These are some big ass staples.
Yeah, they are. Surprisingly, it doesn't say the weight on there, but it actually feels very light. Right. I wouldn't say I'm getting stronger, but this feels light. Say on there.
You've been a bit more active.
Yeah. 54. So that could be interesting to look into those details there. So the manufacturer is actually Tivo Technologies Pte from Singapore. That's interesting.
The weight should be on the white address label.
Yeah. They doesn't have any weight. Any weight.
How much for the case?
The case, the links are in the video description, but
Although America's not available.
unfortunately in America it's not currently available. But in the UK it appears to be, well, it's supposed to be $89.99 is the official MSRP.
$6.43 they've got it on eBay for.
Yeah, it's £99 on Amazon, which I think is a bit hopeful. But then I don't know how much the Fractal North is, or whatever the fractal version of this is. I think that's probably around the same sort of price, isn't it? I've got to say, it's actually very well packaged. So, it's got some really nice... Oh, I haven't put the camera back to the right position, have I? That's my fault. There we go, I think that's about right.
Do you need to add
You'll have to.
fertilizer and water
Oh shit. Yeah.
Have huge boxes there. Might
That
just
huge box,
trip
yeah.
over it.
So in terms of packaging, they've got like these cardboard edges on there, and also they got the nice foam, the really soft foam. So this is the stuff that doesn't fall apart when you actually take it out of the box. So heads up, or hats off to them for that.
Weighs 8 kilograms.
It feels lighter.
Beat them. Fractal North XL is 160.
Is it? So that potentially is a big saving. Not bad.
Oh, Bob.
I can't see from over there. Go on, Rasher. Where is it? I can't see it. Oh, blimey, reminds me of my wife. It's a wide bugger, ain't it? Ain't it?
Ain't it?
So, front panel, as you can see. So we've got this wood effect, although it apparently is real wood. I don't want to try and scratch it, just in case. But yeah, it seems to be okay. And behind the wood, there is a mesh. Yeah. It does seem to go right to the very bottom, which I don't know if I like that or not, because does that make the front hard to take off?
Is it smooth, that wood? You just rub the wood.
Yeah, it's varnished. I am rubbing the wood. I don't know how the front panel comes off, or indeed if it does. I guess it would do, because otherwise how do you get to the filters and things like that? Maybe there's instructions inside. Let's have a look. Instructions. Apparently it's supposed to be tool free, which it does appear to be. So the back panel comes off. Is there an instruction manual? No, we don't have an instruction manual, so that takes care of that. Yeah,
Take the glass off first on the side panel.
Oh, really? Okay. So the glass panel on the side, bit of reflecto pouring there, sorry. Bit of an edge around it as well. Protect it from fingerprints. And, God, that is actually, Jesus, that's quite difficult to get off.
Sorry, mate, we've got to remind.
So yeah, there is the panel. Put that to one side for now. Actually quite a thick panel as well.
We can turn back the names.
Cool. Jesus, that is well built. So there is the front. So you can see you've got the 3 included Tecware fans. 9 blade, I think that is. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 bladed fans. So those would be pretty good for airflow, static pressure. You've got your I/O panel there, and looking at the wood section, and you've got the filter behind it, which is actually, look at the bloody hell.
Yeah, look at the angle of that wood. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, if you want to take the air filter out, it's 29 screws. That, to me, seems a little excessive. But it is a very good attention to detail, because every single slat is basically screwed in. Oh, actually, there's another screw there. 30 screws.
Where's another screw?
There,
Yeah, I did
hidden in
wonder why you
between.
missed that one.
Yeah, I didn't see it from this angle.
To get it off.
Well, not to get... Yeah, because that is the filter, is literally attached to that. So if you wanted to take the filter out to clean it, which you realistically wouldn't, because that would just be nuts, that actually doesn't look like it's got a very good airflow. I know on this case it says it's excellent airflow, but I don't know, that's pretty fine.
Blurring out a bit.
Sorry. See if I can get you some decent shots of me out of the way so you can actually see the wood.
Show them your wood.
So it's a little bit more tighter than a normal mesh, but it's not quite as fine as a nylon mesh. So that should be quite good. So we've seen that. So 3 fans, you've also got the mounting sides. So no, I was completely wrong. 160s. And in fact, realistically, you probably don't want to go as big as that. You could probably get away with smaller fans because half of them are being blocked. Which is a bit disappointing. It's not the end of the world because you're still going to put in enough air through there. But it just seems they haven't really learned the lesson of essentially making it as clear as possible. And I think it does state actually on the box that it is a high airflow case. Yeah, high airflow ATX TG case, which I don't think it is. It might say it, but just because it says it, don't make it true. So we're going to have to examine that and see what the actual restriction is with the front panel on. Because I'm guessing it's going to be moderate. Right, it does that. So front USBs, they are USB 3.0, but they've been color coded black to fit in a bit more kind of stylishly. Reset button.
Looks like 80 centimetre fans would fit better and no obstruction in airflow.
Yeah, 80 centimetre. I'm not sure how that reset button actually works, if indeed it does. I can't imagine it being touch sensitive. Let's get something with a bit of wood on it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, geez, must have missed.
Yeah, that reset button, it needs a real proper... I don't think I can press it with my finger. No, you can't. If you listen to the click, so that's what it's supposed to click like, but
I bet I could do it with my fingers.
can't do it. Can't do it. Can't you? It doesn't appear that you can press the reset button without a sharp or a solid object actually in between it.
I could.
You can try it. You're not allowed to use your nails.
Well, everyone's got nails.
I haven't.
Make sure I'm not on camera. Which one is it? This one?
The reset one. No, that's the USB port.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's not easy, is it?
I'm trying with just finger. Okay. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it with a finger, would you?
So the reset button is a bit of a weird one. Power button's fine. Yeah, ports there. Got a combo headset and mic jack, which, yeah, okay, fair enough. Child-proof reset button. Yeah.
Is it cat-proof?
More like kitty and mic-proof. 9-inch kitchen knife would do that. Born Joker says, when's the last time anybody used a reset button? I use them all the time. Especially when I'm doing like memory stuff, like trying to do overclocking or XMP stuff or Expo. Yeah, I use reset quite a lot.
Cats use them all the time.
Yeah, good job it's not on an RGB controller, that would suck. Rasher says Calf's laugh is similar to my wife's. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Mikesunboxing screwdriver would work every time.
It would, you're absolutely right. Right, I've seen enough of that on the front, so let's take a look on the inside. This does feel really light. There's no way that's 8 kilos.
Can you wear its hat?
Mind you, the glass isn't on, so anyway.
It was 8, wasn't it?
Yeah. Right, so let's see what we got going on. So there's actually some really nice features on this internally. Let me see if I can get a better angle. So You can put a 120mm. Let me turn that bloody thing off in the kitchen. It's driving me insane. Shut up. Right, so you can put 120mm in the front section here, and also you can put 120s on the top. But if you do that, you won't be able to take advantage of this cutout here, which hopefully you can see from that screen. Don't know if you can or not. Let's get a bit closer.
Fox Archer says, Cav just emailed you something relevant. Where has that been emailed?
So you've got a cut through there, or pass through rather. So yeah, that's quite nice for graphics cards, for putting the power through straight in to make it look really neat. Obviously as well, you can see, hopefully you can see, there is the support for your BTF motherboards. So both the micro ATX ones and also ATX. So you've got all the pass-throughs there. Actually saying that, yeah, that will be right, won't it? Yeah, because the motherboard goes down past those screw holes. So yeah, you've got micro ATX and ATX, and also you've got the pass-throughs on the side for your power connections, which no rubber grommets, which is a little bit of a shame. I guess it is what it is. Also you've got the screw holes there, which you can see from this side. That is for mounting drives either on this side or the other side. You can mount them either way. They will fit in this side or on the back side, so whichever suits you. You've also got a good few pass-throughs in the top section. Flip that up a bit. So yeah, you've got the pass-throughs there. You've also got another tray on the back. Now that actually seems like a daft place to put it, because that tray on the back could potentially be getting in the way of your CPU cooler, especially if you've got one with like long screws that goes all the way through. Shouldn't be too bad, but yeah, just bear that in mind. So if you're on an Intel platform perhaps, where you've got a bigger back plate which attaches, then yeah, it could be resting on there. Got a centralized lug on the middle for your motherboards, so that's nice. Yeah, big cutouts at the top for your EPS connectors, slightly smaller ones there for possibly radiator section. Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm quite interested to see what the fans are like. See how noisy they are and how restrictive potentially they are. They look to be PWM. We'll have a look at that shortly anyway. Let's have a look in the back of the case and see what's going on in the back. So to get that off, tool free, so that just pops off the side.
With no nails?
Without nails. No nails, yes. I'll do manual focus, yeah.
I've got that. So don't know if you wanna.
Okay.
So.
Just leave it. So in the back, you have got. So it looks like the fan's daisy chain, but they are PWM with pass-throughs, so that's kind of nice. Although I think for 100 quid thereabouts, kind of really you would have expected a hub, wouldn't you? It's a bit tight.
Is the front wheel all wood?
Yes, apparently it is. Although they haven't stated what the wood actually is though, but it does say real wood on the box. So we've got an accessories bag in here. What we got in here? Anything exciting? I think this is just going to be the usual stuff. So some cable ties and some screws. Yep, cable ties, screws. Oh, BIOS buzzer. That's kind of nice. Definitely handy for some of the lads and lassesses on the Discord. And what is that? Is that twist sticks? They included twist sticks. I can't believe they would have included twist sticks.
Sandwiches up.
They have as well. There's a length of twist sticks, so you can cut those off and put them wherever you want to. But they've also given you cable ties as well. How bizarre. I don't think I've ever seen that before. You see them sometimes twist sticks inside the case, but you don't often see them outside of it.
Lacquered, isn't it, or varnished?
Yes, it is. Yeah, yeah. The front is lacquered and varnished. So in the bottom, power supply basement area with some rubber as well to support the power supply, bring it up off the deck. They've done the mesh on mesh thing a lot of times on there, which is a little bit annoying. But anyway, what's that? That's your audio connection. Got your USBs. All these cables are nicely blacked out. Obviously, other than like that, that's also a thing that kind of bothers me sometimes. Is the fact that you've got all these cables which they've nicely blacked out all the way along, but the one which you're actually likely to see at the bottom is the one with the most rainbow puke possible. But it's not the end of the world. I've seen much worse.
So is Sharpie.
Yeah, Sharpie will take care of that. So yeah, PWM fans. I'm not sure what they are, but we'll have a look. So yeah, drive mounting points there, pass-throughs, and the drive cage is on a thumb screw. Seems pretty good quality, and it's all marked up there saying what screws are which. So SSDs, HDDs. So it looks like you can put 2 hard disk drives on here, or 2 SSDs, whichever you choose. So 2 drives there, also 2 drives on there potentially, or maybe on the inside or the outside. Probably an SSD there, maybe an SSD there,
and build anything in it.
And 2 drives. I will be building something in it, not tonight, but I will be building something in it. I'm not too sure what yet. I need to have a little thinkaroo about that. I have got a motherboard coming very shortly, a B650 Tomahawk, which yeah, I think that would make a quite nice build. Stick that in there, do a nice little AM5 build, and see how it performs. Lots of holes and punch throughs everywhere for tying down your cables. So for things like your front audio. So there's little punch outs all the way down these metal folded out bits. So you can basically cable tie stuff into kind of like these channels, and then maybe down there around the bottom into your audio ports. So to make that really nice and neat, you just use a bunch of cable ties and stuff to keep that all tidy. So I like those, they're a good idea. It's relatively deep as well in the back in terms of the depth for cable management. So let's take a read in. So just over an inch. Well, actually, I think that's pretty much bang on an inch. So that is about 25 millimeters of depth there, which is, yeah, I think 25 mil is absolutely fine. So nice. There's a decent amount of room there. Although saying that, how deep is a hard drive? Because I can't see you getting a hard drive on that caddy in that case. Because a hard drive is more than, just under an inch. So yeah, if you put your disk drive on there, actually yeah, it will close. I didn't think it would do. So yeah, put a couple of drives on there.
Sure. What the old Bob said, I would think flat-headed screws are best for adding SSDs to the back.
Actually, hard disk drive would go there.
Save shorting out the mobo.
Do what? Sorry?
Old Bob says,
Mm.
but I thought it's hard drives, but it's SSDs. I would think flat-headed screws are best for adding SSDs to that black back plate. Save shorting out the mobo.
Yeah. I think I would agree. So,
Does it have reverse motherboard support? That's a new thing now.
yes, reverse motherboard support. So those pass-throughs there, and also there, that is all for your rear connect motherboard. So yeah, rear connect motherboards, or BTF, or Project Zero, whatever you want to call it. Those are all going to be fine in there. No issues with that. I wonder if I'm going to upset Tecware again with this. I do have a tendency of doing that. Because I keep on looking at this case and I'm thinking of the price. And I suppose it's like anything. If you like a case enough because of how it looks, then like you'll just pay. What am I doing here? Ah, there we go. Yeah, if you like the way a case looks, then you'll just go with it, won't you? So on the
drive goes next to the power supply. There are holes there.
yeah, there is some holes there, definitely. Top and bottom. So PCI Express cover, little thumb screw on there. That's kind of nice, and they're all removable slots as well, which you'd expect at this price. It looks like as well. Oh, there is a bar in between there. I was thinking there if you took them out, it would be open, but I don't think it will be. Have a look. Because people that might be thinking about vertical mounting a GPU, I'm pretty sure there's going to be bars in the way.
Yeah. Production. Hey Mike, I just bought an Intel RB580.
Nice.
Asked your opinion last week. Decided to buy this GPU because of the price.
Nice one.
Switching from an RX 6600. Wish me luck.
Oh, from 6600, yeah, that should be a noticeable improvement. And you got a bit more VRAM as well. So yeah, we have got the bars in the middle there, which is unfortunate. So vertical mounting a GPU is going to be hard in here. Although realistically, I don't think it's really a case that, like, people that are buying this are people that want like an understated build.
How much did you say it was?
So the recommended retail price is supposed to be $89.99. But I keep on thinking it in my head, 90 quid. And I'm thinking of what other cases there are on the market for that sort of money and less. And like, I don't know how much value you would put on the wood bits. How much more expensive does that make a PC case? I know obviously some of the wooden cases are ferociously expensive. And for me personally, I don't really mind. I don't mind it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to buy a case with a wooden front panel. I don't think personally. Maybe I would. I don't know. Right, let's have a look at the underside. So, usual deal with this. It's your normal crappy filter stuff, which
Nice for an office server.
yeah, for an office server, yeah, this would be a great looking box, and also the filtration would be quite handy. For a gaming PC though, I'm not so sure. But there's some hard drive mounting holes there, so you can put a hard drive in the bottom there next to the PSU, as was said just now. And also you can probably just about make out the screws there as well for the 120mm fans to go in the bottom. But the thing is, they've done what a lot of people are doing these days. They're using this really fine mesh, but on top of relatively small hexagonal mesh. And small hexagonal mesh combined with tight mesh like that basically means kind of zero airflow.
Dutch John says, Mike, please look at the iTech Woody.
The what?
iTech Woody.
Okay, I will try and have a look at the iTech Woody.
Alright, thank you.
Let's get that back in there. So, like, come on. 90 quid, and we don't even get a nice removable filter on the bottom.
Without the wood, it would be 50 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If it didn't have the wood, I think 50 quid would be a fair price.
50 quid would be a good price for that. Without the wood, it would be 50 quid.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do a woodless version, do they?
I don't know if they do.
Your camera's really blurring in the night.
I know, it's gone a bit mad. Now I'll put the focal point on the case, that might make life easier. Right, let's have a look in the top. So the top, they've basically done the same as what they've done on the bottom. So we've got that pretty tight mesh over hexagonal. So the actual available porosity isn't great, but it's fine. So 360mm rad, 280mm rad possibly as well, or 3 120mm fans, or 2 140mm fans. Nice bit of offset as well, so you can still get access to your EPS connectors and stuff like that, should you need to. Obviously no I/O on the top because it's on the front. And I think that is pretty much it, unless anybody else has got any questions about it. The machining looks nice. It does actually, it looks like it's well built, to be fair. Tecware says airflow really needs it. Question, how would a rad fit in the top? No room. Yeah, you should have a bit of room there. So the motherboard's going to stop there, just about. And because you've got quite a big offset, it is going to drop down over the motherboard a little bit. So it's not going to have the clearance that a taller case would have, but there is a little bit of a gap there. Yeah, I kind of guess I see what you mean now. Could do with another inch on top, really.
Is this a newcomer from Tecware?
Yeah. So yeah, there's an inch between the motherboard and the top. So basically the size of a fan. So if you have a radiator and a fan, it's going to drop down over it a little bit. So yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass as well. So really, probably a front mounted radiator would probably make more sense. Although I generally don't like front mounted radiators, but I think actually in this setup, because it's like no RGB, it would make more sense.
But that would look better with RGB flying through it.
Mm. Yeah, it probably would actually. It's getting cooler in here, but it feels like it's getting hotter. That's just me. Nefarious Leprechaun says the motherboard with the high heat sink over the rear I/O BMs would make life difficult. Yep. Does the top come off to mount rads like in the LAN Cool 216 and 217 and others? No, doesn't appear to. No, it's riveted, unfortunately. So let's see what the fans are like, because that's going to be a little bit of an interesting thing, I guess. Maybe. I need a fan extension lead. Which I have got here somewhere. This bunch of cables. I might need.
Use those twist sticks to keep them nice and tidy in future.
I could. The twist sticks.
But they are black.
The twist sticks have become useful. The funny thing is as well, I know already, just by looking at this case and knowing who the other likely recipients are for review samples, I can already know, I just know what their reviews are going to be like already. I can feel it.
In your hair.
I can feel it in my hairline. Right, let's stick that into, I think that's sys fan number 2. Sys fan number 2. And it's a fan. It is actually a lot quieter than I thought it was going to be.
I can't even hear it.
You wouldn't know it was on. Holy shit, that's quiet. Not too sure what speed it is, so let's verify the speeds. I'll have to open up the MSI Center. If I can find it. There we go. MSI center, so system fan 2. We're in manual control mode. And right, that's currently at 50%. So let's try 100% because why not?
Let him flicking of it.
So that's heading up to 100%.
I can hear it now, but not massively.
I can't feel it.
I'm sure I can, but it might be windows open.
There's nothing coming out the middle.
Try that this side.
I need something like a feather or some cotton. Can I borrow some of your crochet cotton stuff, please?
Crotchet.
Can I borrow some of your crochet stuff?
Oh, it's not cotton. I think that'd be too heavy.
So the air is dispersing like out here. I can feel it quite strongly there, and I can feel it quite strongly there, and not really much at the top and bottom. So it's moving air, but it's moving in like a really weird pattern. It's a shame we haven't got a smoke machine. That would be very cool right now.
Got my sage.
Should we try that?
Can do. Do you need to go get it again?
Yeah, go on then. We'll burn something and see if we can not set fire to the house. I'm sure the insurance doesn't cover that sort of thing. It's actually pretty quiet. I'll give it that. Considering that's on full blast. But it doesn't seem to be moving anything. Like literally nothing.
You could use Maisie's fur.
Thank you. Got a lighter? Please.
I've got Maisie.
This probably isn't going to work, so don't get your hopes up. Well, there is. Typical. The only place the airflow is going is where I don't want it to go. We haven't got any cigars, have we? That's not really working, is it? Ah, I'm on fire.
I can smell that.
So can't really see it, can you? See if I can make that go a bit better.
I can smell it real bad over here.
It's distinct, isn't it?
But I mean, it must be pushing it over.
Yeah, it's moving. It is circulating it,
But you can't really see it, can
but you can't see it. Okay. Oh yeah, there we go. Can you see it? It's not very impressive, is it? You can see it coming out a little bit. I don't think you can see it on camera, do you? I can see it here.
But just as much as going.
Actually, weirdly, a lot of it seems to be going out through there. Through the look. Even with it really close up, it's actually coming out through the I/O shield.
To block the I/O shield off.
That's a great idea. I never thought of that. I did. Let's get a bit of tape. Yeah, I don't think you can see that at all, can you? No, you can't see it, can you? Let's see if I can put it around that way. You just might see the odd puff of smoke come out, possibly. Oh well. We tried. I'll leave that there, burning away.
That is a serious blunt.
Yeah. Right, noise-wise, let's set it to about 30%. Actually, yeah, 1650 roughly RPM. And let's see what the lowest speed is. I guess, well, I am actually interested to see what the low speed is. It's actually quite quiet. It's got a nice noise profile to it. I'll give it that. It does get very quiet. Can you just see the smoke going past? Typical now, it's burning out like bloody great, isn't it? Oh, it's good towards me. I'm on fire. Right, those have stopped.
Need a smoke machine, they are expensive and they break so often.
They do. Right, 30%. So about 600, maybe 700 RPM is the lowest speed. So I can drop it down a bit.
Orange is off.
Cheers, Nick. Safe trip. Right, that stopped. So yeah, about 700 mil is about the slowest, I think. Sorry, 700 RPM. So yeah, roughly about 30% PWM range is the lowest, and now yeah, you can see the smoke come out a little bit.
Pop your nose hairs in front of it and see if we can see them wavering around.
Okay, you can see a little bit of smoke coming out now. Not a lot. Anyway, I think I've proved the point that that is useless and that sage smells real bad. So the fans are okay. I wouldn't say they are fantastic, no pun intended. They're definitely not rubbish. They are seeming to move a lot of air, but it doesn't seem to be focused.
What about the front fans, somebody said to be?
Front fans, yeah, we can do the front fans. Let's see how I can do this.
Joe Brown said Nick is leaving the building. Hopefully get back before ending.
Okay, good luck. May the force be with you. Now that side panel comes off a bit easier now. Sometimes you find that with the side panels, like the first couple of times you take them off, they're a little bit on the well, not sticky, but you know, just a little bit awkward. And for some reason, this fan has got like a knot tight in it.
Why does that thing burn so rapidly?
It's going great now.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And it's, can you actually see it?
Yeah. That's when you don't touch it, it goes really good.
I don't touch it anymore.
Sitting here watching Mike blowing smoke, literally.
Literally blowing smoke up Tecware's ass.
Mike, Fantex 140.
Oh God, no. I still haven't, no.
2 fans are good.
Buy me them for Christmas.
Guy still hasn't had a cigarette in 20 years and I want one. Bad Mike.
Yeah. Right. Actually, fair dues. Even though those are on the lowest setting, and I thought it would be a bit restrictive, it's actually not too bad. I think I scratched the wood. No, I haven't. That's the wood grain. Such an idiot. So yeah, they're moving a reasonable amount of air actually, and they're very, very quiet. Even though there's 3 of them on now. Oh, there's a bit of sage in there. I don't know if I've got to send this back actually. They'll get it back in their office and just stink of sage. That'd be great. No, they're running fine. So let's crank up the speed a bit. And we'll see if having 3 of them running at velocity will... Oh, nearly blew the sage over. I like it that the fans have got a very slow ramp. So even if they do change pitch, it's like a gradual change. So that's kind of nice.
Where isn't it going? A job interview. The way everyone is talking sounds like a job interview.
No, he's just picking up his daughters from the train station.
And wife and that.
I'm not sure if it's Joe as well. Maybe. I'm not too sure. Right, so the first thing I notice is, even though the fans have got much louder,
I can hear them now.
you can hear them a bit, but it's not moving a tremendous amount of air now.
Should we see? Oh, it's in there.
It is in there. Oh, right. Well, it's done enough to actually make... Oh, shit. I'm on fire.
Touchdown's put another case up.
So, yeah, it's... well, you can see there's a reasonable amount of turbulence. Can you actually see that on the screen?
I don't know.
I can't see that now. Yeah, not brilliant. Have you got a bit of thread or something there? Actually, don't worry, it's fine.
I've got my key link. Do you have you in it?
Try it.
Hey, Flame.
No, it's not moving that at all.
That is heavy, mind.
It is quite
That is
heavy.
quite a waste. Sweated it. He's at the bottom now.
This thing don't want to come off.
I can't really move because I'm lazy, but it's up on my shelf.
Yeah, take that off and it's like... Yeah. I thought that first time was me just being stupid, but maybe it was the second time as well. Yeah. It's definitely quite restrictive. With that out of the way, you can probably notice the difference. Full of ash, yeah, the ash is free. It's like buying a PC at the thrift store. So yeah, without the restriction on there, well, you can hear it, can't you, straight away. They're hauling ass now. Yeah, you can hear it, can't you?
What if you undid those 30 screws and took that? You're going to do it?
I am going to do it.
That's really joking.
I'm going to undo the 30 screws and see if it makes a difference. I'm hoping it does. Because it's little things like this which I can then refer back to them and say, firstly, like, who designed the case? I think a lot of the times with a lot of cases on the market these days, it's literally like there's some kid working in the back of a factory somewhere and he's like throwing all these designs together and they just go, yeah, that looks great, we like that. Or they just take someone else's design and kind of just say, well, we've got tooling for this, so we could do that, and well, we haven't got filters for that, so we can just get a sheet of it and we can just screw them on the back and that'll work as a filter, rather than actually like designing it from scratch.
Fire things, it's Mike, is Bristol a seaside place like Brighton?
Not really, no. We're about roughly about 20 miles inland. I would say about 20 miles, is that right?
I don't know.
Roughly,
Western,
innit?
you're talking.
Yeah.
But we don't really get any sea coming in at Western, do you?
Yeah.
To be honest. Just a bit of mud.
Yeah, we're not like a seaside town or anything. We are, there's lots of water around us, like rivers, and we've got the River Avon, which runs through Bristol. You've got the Bristol Channel, obviously, which is like, used to be one of the like main trade ports into the country. But yeah, we're not like Exmouth or Exeter or Devon, those sorts of places, or Torquay.
Exeter got water. That's not a seaside.
Well, Exeter is kind of more, I suppose Exeter isn't as much, is it?
Service
Yeah. Yeah, it depends. If you were to compare us with like American or Australian inland areas, then yeah, you would say we are relatively coastal, but we're not really.
Oh, well, they've got so many roads shut, you can't even get down the road anymore because it's just everything's shut.
Thing is, in our climate here in the UK, you don't really want to be by the coast anyway, because it's only like nice for a couple of weeks a year if you're lucky. The rest of the time it's just god awful miserable rain, and if you're by the coast it's going to be windy as all hell.
But is it? Because every time you go on holiday it's always much better weather there than what it is here.
Yeah, that's true.
And it probably just all blows over a lot quicker. But we're only assuming they've got the same weather there as what we've got here. I think inland is worse. Because we were extremely lucky that every time we went on holiday we'd have the best weather. Otherwise, I think they just have it.
I'm not planning on putting those back in, if anyone's wondering.
What if the wood falls off? Now you've taken them out.
I'm pretty sure it's purely to hold this in place. I'm almost 100% sure. Oh, fuck.
Does that make a difference about the wood though?
Shit.
You did say you're not putting it back on.
Yeah. Right, it's a... Oh, so there, that's the sort of wood it is anyway. I don't even know what sort of wood that is. I'm guessing that's birch. Anybody? Bueller? Oh man, that's going to be almost impossible to put back on now, isn't it? Fuck. Sorry about the language, but... Fuck. Oh man.
A letter says, I miss the ocean. It's about 800 miles to the nearest beach. I think that's the almost whole length of our country, isn't it? How many miles is our whole country? Can't be much more than 800.
Yeah, it probably is around about... No.
No, 200.
It's about 1,500, I think.
Dave Aiken says we've got Western, but that's not really the beach.
See, there is a lot of airflow there, because that is actually holding that panel in place almost, or pulling it in. But the airflow, yeah, is markedly better without that filter on. And obviously the plastic bits are what these go into, so like that's... You are basically blocking off a lot of airflow.
Soul blade's gone.
And because this is... Cheers, Soul Blade. And because this is actually quite close to the fans, if they were spaced back a little bit more, it wouldn't be as restrictive, because you just need to have that gap. And also it would change the noise profile as well. Yeah, airflow is markedly improved by removing slats. How many is there? 10, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, of course there would be, because there's 30 screws. And there's 3 in each. I do math.
Balsa wood?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Is it balsa wood?
No, it's just the way these trousers hang.
Yeah, kindling.
It's kindling. It is kindling. Oh, man. This was a bad idea. I've had bad ideas before, but they've not normally ended up being quite as bad an idea as this.
But with the wood off, can you grate cheese?
Probably. Not in these trousers.
Can you grate cheese with the wood?
That don't want to fit now.
Oh, they must have been properly ordered. That's the order.
Yeah, mental note to self, do the review video before you undo all the bastard screws. Now I need to turn it over. They're all going to fall out, aren't they?
Can you say the chopsticks, Mike?
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, I was hoping that was going to be level. Shit.
What you need to do is put the filter. Oh, done it now.
Yeah, it's too late. Right, let's put one in. And get the filter. And we'll put one screw in. We'll get just one. Oh man. Cat hairs. This has been a bad day. Right, let's get that. Right, Kath, read out some of the messages.
Because you've got a wood effect on the video title, makes people think that it's an effect rather than real.
Oh. So it's my fault. Would be. Why does that not...
Don't be so... What's it called?
Pedantic?
Defensive.
Okay. Ah, I see. Oh man.
Come on.
Oh man.
I'll time you. I bet you can't do it in.
You're right. I absolutely can't. I'm going to get a couple of screws started and then it should be a piece of cake. Right, read out some chat. Because I can't see the screen.
Looks like Sunday's going to be a busy day, Mike.
Yeah. I do get to times in my life where I think... This reminds me actually of when I used to buy those IKEA blinds. And they're kind of like a DIY thing to make them fit your windows. And you'd end up like restringing the entire Venetian blind.
Do it one at a time.
Yeah. I think one at a time. If I get one screw started, it'll be fine. Oh, there's so many cat's hairs in here.
I have to vacuum the hell out of my room every day. But we vacuum every day.
We vacuum every day, but it's pointless.
Right. He's good with that vacuum cleaner.
It is literally. I could be vacuuming in this house
24/7.
every hour that I'm awake, and it probably still wouldn't be enough.
All on his head.
And if I stuck the remnants on the barnet, it would it'd be great.
Oh, imagine how silky and lovely that'd feel if you had cat fur on your head.
Well, it was like cat fur, and that's why it fell out.
It wasn't it, of course, it was like Otis.
It wasn't at all.
It wasn't like Dave's.
My hair was like silky. I could have been.
Like Dave's.
I could have been a bloody hair model. It's not that funny.
Have you got any breasted, Mike?
No, it's just the way these trousers hang. I've overdone that one though.
iTech Woody, same case, €82.50. Filters back to front, Mike.
Nope. I'm not going to play your Chinese food mind games. No and then. Right, let's have a look.
Any new Banksy paintings in Bristol lately, Mike?
No.
You wouldn't know if there was.
No. Susan Robbins says you guys are cute.
Oh.
What is that? Is that a good thing? I don't understand Americanism sometimes. Does that mean we're like soppy? Blokes don't like being called...
And the girl says, yeah, the after photo model for a head shaver.
Hey!
So you have been a model for...
I have, technically, yeah. I've been a hair model. Just the removal of, not the styling of. Actually, I could turn those fans down, couldn't I? That would be a great idea. But they are keeping me quite nice and cool, to be fair. Let's set them up as the normal sort of MUB format. Some of you may have noticed, actually, those of you with MSI motherboards, that the... oh, I haven't got a piece of wood there. The fan control software no longer works, or is no longer supported. Which I think is a terrible shame. But the it used to be that you had to use the was it user scenarios add-on, and it seems that if you try to install that now, it only allows you to do CPU tweaks in there. It doesn't allow you to do fan control. So you have to use the basically the kind of like not AI but the sort of intermediary AI version of fan control. So there will be a video coming out on that relatively shortly, because yeah, I think that's going to be one which is going to catch out a few people, because you're like, well, why can't I control my fans? I've done 2 MSI motherboard installs recently.
You just say, have you screwed 30 screws
And-
into the front of this case?
Yeah, I'm not going to put that in there.
Are you doing them all backwards to make sure you're getting your click?
No, these are self-tappers, so they don't require the click, because they will tap their own thread.
Or so be it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so the new MSI software, well, not new, it's been around a little while, but they've basically replaced the old user scenario. So if you still are using that and you've got it, if you do an MSI update for MSI Center, you may find that it stops working, in which case you have to use the new version, which I've actually got on the screen there, so I might actually show you how it all works. It's got some quite nice features to it. I was a little bit hesitant because like with anything, when they change things, generally it isn't for your betterment, it's normally for theirs. But in this instance, actually it's quite good because it also puts graphics card fan control in there as well, if you've got a suitable GPU. Alright.
Firephone says,
Hey Firephone.
Mike, have you seen a new Graham look?
New Graham look?
Graham.
No, what's he done now?
Didn't have that on today, did you?
He's at a wedding or something. He's in that London town. And last we saw he was getting on a boat. No, I don't know. What new look is that? Has he shaved off that beard yet?
He did Captain
Does he look like Captain Pugwash still?
Ahab.
Graham did Captain Ahab. What does that mean? I don't know.
Goatee free.
Oh, he's got rid of the goatee. It's because he was going to a wedding, I suppose, isn't it? He didn't want everyone going, oh,
Family didn't want.
what's the matter with you, lunatic? I joke. I'd love to be able to grow a beard like that. It would drive me insane.
Drive me insane.
I would kill people.
Imagine you be vacuuming and hands stuck in the vacuum.
Well, it would put an end to my eating of Greg's sausage rolls and pasties, because they'd end up just be,
all day long.
yeah, you'd just be, oh, there's another bit. Nah, it's weird because I used to like having a goatee. I'd had a goatee for probably 6, 7, 8 years, if not more. Actually, it's probably longer than that. It's probably closer to 20. Thinking about it. Bloody hell. No, it's not, is it? Well, maybe it is.
When did you start?
I don't know, I would have been quite young, I think, wouldn't I? 19, 20, maybe?
I wouldn't have been till 94.
Yeah, so
You
that,
had it when we first moved in our house. 93. So you're
Yeah.
younger than 20.
yeah, so maybe 19 then, 18, 19. And it's only really been probably, I used to have it at the BBC, didn't I, when I started there, I think.
Yeah. And you only shaved like maybe once a week, didn't you?
Yeah.
Or
It's
did you?
strange.
No, I don't know if you did. I think you did shave once a week, didn't you then?
Yeah, I think so.
You just be all moaning about it itching by the end of the week.
Yeah, I used to hate shaving, because shaving used to always make me like red raw and itchy as hell. So I just basically didn't bother, but then I found Skull Shaver and everything was much better. And now I shave every other day. Mostly. Yay! Right, let's put it back on. These are nice and quiet now. Moving lots of air. they're about to move a lot less air.
Yeah, that's why you had it, wasn't it? Because you could then do the flickers instead of the shaver.
Yeah. Yeah, of all of the things that I've had sent for review, I think probably the skull shaver is probably one of the best ones, actually. It's one of the ones that I've used the most. Nice. So there it is. There is the Tecware timber. Here it is. Yeah, that was my first words on YouTube. Here it is.
Here it is.
Here it is then. Mike here. Mike's unboxing. Reviews now too. How's it going?
Oh, bless. Here it is.
There. See, no harm. Bad idea. Not so bad. Yeah, it's alright. Aletta says, I never like shaving either, so I wax instead. Yeah, but you're talking about your front lady bottom, not your bloody head. Or your whiskers.
I used to wax my nose hairs out.
Yeah. Yeah, you can wax your face. Like, you can wax your nose hairs and that, but that shit is...
I should imagine the man's are much tougher.
Oof. I have done it before now. Waxed my nose hairs and that was like...
No, you didn't.
I did.
When?
When we got the waxer.
I don't think...
I did, and it hurt, and it felt weird for days. Because like, every
Actually,
time you touch your nose, it's like, oh.
I think I remember it.
My nose feels
actually, 'cause
weird.
It's like, once you do it, there's no going back, and I'm not doing it, and you do it yourself.
Yeah. It's one of those stupid things that I did, and
I didn't mind it.
it was alright. It just felt like really clean. Which, yeah, like overly clean. It's a weird feeling if you wax your nose hole.
But at first, it's like the stick's just stuck in there on this wax, because you have to imagine if you put the wax in without the stick.
Yeah, I would imagine, not that I know, but I would imagine waxing your nose hairs would be very much like taking cocaine. Because cocaine is like a numbing thing, so it feels like nothing's there. So I imagine it would be like that. He says, imagining. I couldn't possibly know for sure. Ugh. Hello, Dave.
Russia, I just grab the nose hairs and wrench them out.
Yeah.
I used to plug them all the way to Cardiff every day.
Yeah. When we used to work for the BBC over in Cardiff, and we're in Bristol, so we'd travel the roughly 50 miles every day. 50 miles there, 50 miles back. And like Kath used to quite often drive, so I would
drive in the mornings, you drive at night.
Yeah, Kath did the morning drive, I did the night drive. So in the morning it'd be great. Kath would be driving away and I'll just be there sat in the traffic, just plucking my nose hairs and just chucking them on the carpet.
Deep carbon.
It was, those BMW carpets are really deep. they got a lot deeper. It was great. Look at the state of this desk now. Monstrous. Right.
Is that a thing gone out yet?
Hmm?
Is that a thing gone out yet?
Yes.
Dave wants to smoke it now.
Oh.
That wax them.
Fortunately, I've still got some nose hairs, so it prevented it going into my brain. Right. Sinister Chef says, I hate shaving, lol. I only trim the beard mane when it gets a bit out of control. Keep it looking professional, in lack of better words, as I cook for a living as well. Beard nets suck, but shaving sucks more. Yeah, I don't think a beard net sounds like a weird thing. David Underhill says, Mike, when was the last time you updated MSI Center? Cooling Wizard is in the fan control module. Well, generally because I have the user scenario. Actually, I'll show you. Let's get the... This is the new version which we've got on screen here. So if I drag that over, will it let me drag it over? Save. No. Oh, I've got to close that, am I? I've got to drag that over this away. Let's see if I can make that small enough so I can still read your comments. No, I have to do something there. Hold the line cooler. Actually, that might just about work. Okay, right, let's go to...
What we do here is go back.
Stream mic, copy. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Good to see you.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me now? I forgot to copy and paste the microphone into the this other tab. You can hear? Excellent.
So you spoke all that time?
Only that little bit then.
Oh.
Right, so as I was saying, which you didn't hear. So normally you install the user scenario, which is this one here. And if you click on open, think about it first of all, because it's just been installed. McFly, we can hear you. I wonder if user scenario is going to get upset actually, because Cooling Wizard installed as well. This is taking a lot longer than usual, which makes me a little worried. I reckon it's going to crash. I've never known it take this long to open. It generally doesn't take this long. That's loading so fast. I know. Honestly, this is yeah, this is not normally what happens. Right. Let's forget about user scenario, shall we? David Underhill says, user scenario does not have fan control. Learn your MSI software. David Underhill, learn your software because it's always been in there. I've made 3 or 4 videos on it with fan control in it. So it has been in there. Know your software. Yeah, that's not going to work. So let's close that down. And we'll try opening that again. MSI. Try again. I might have just broken it now. Yeah, I think I have actually broken it. I wonder if that's because I've dragged it onto another screen. It shouldn't do. I don't know. Yeah, I've properly pissed it off, I think. You full screen it, see if that helps.
Full screening.
No, I have probably, I think I've ruined that, so let's go back to main camera.
1999.
What for?
Go back to.
I'd love to. Right, exit, and then we'll do run as administrator, yes, whatever. And no doubt it's going to open somewhere. Rasher says, I have to admit I found my vape stash I was going to put in. Oh no. O'Reilly says, know your software, get an Asus board and use Armory Crate. Oh, Bob says, don't forget it's got to Wi-Fi from the other monitor. Oh no. Right, hopefully this will work now. Famous last words. Right, let's try again. Stream desktop, there we go. Right, so normally you would install user scenario. Click on open, that's much better. So it used to have fan mode there as well. So you had software control mode and you had 2 toggles, one for CPU and one for fans. So there's now, obviously you've only got CPU. So if you go into customize, normally there would be a load of fan settings down here as well, which you could adjust, but we don't have that anymore. So they've taken it all out of user scenario and now gone into, go into features and go into Cooling Wizard. You get this new interface. So it's essentially very similar to the previous interface, but there's a few extra bits. So you've got 5 potential profiles. So like before previously we had quiet, normal, full speed, etc. or manual. You've now got profiles. So you can make up one, I call it normal use. So that's what we have in normal use. I could set profile 2 as being full speed, etc, etc. I might actually do that for fan testing. It might make life easier because I can do like 25%, 50%, 75% and full speed. So that would be really easy for me to go through them all without having to individually move them. So that's fine. So you've got options for follow MSI center mode. which would be going from the older version of the scenario thing. You've got BIOS mode, so if you go into BIOS mode, it'll just basically read the BIOS values that you've set in the BIOS. Or you've got customize, so this is for user control. So with these now you've got options, so you've got smart control, manual control, whichever you want to do. So smart control is a little bit misleading. Smart control just means PWM. So if we look at smart, or if we go into the cog there, so smart fan is basically with any sort of gradients that you want. Manual fan is just the option of like 100, 25, 50 and 25, which is rubbish basically, so you don't really want to use that. So smart fan isn't anything smart as such, it's not like an AI feature, it's just your PWM or your fan curve that you can customize however you see fit. So once you change it, click on save and that will change, but I'm not going to change that because I kind of like how I got it set up. Keeps it nice and quiet, so click on save. So that's for the CPU fan. Obviously you've got the same thing for your pump fan header, system fan headers, all 6 of them, and you can go in and basically do the same thing. So click on the setting cog and you can adjust them however you see fit. So that's all really good. And also you've got the options for your temperature control. So depending on how many temperature controls your motherboards have got, you can choose CPU temperature, the GPU core, system temperature, the MOS, chipset A and chipset B. Now this is a X670E, so it's got 2 chipsets, but normally most boards you'd only have 1 chipset showing there. So yeah, basically it's the same sort of thing. It says there, warning, fan RPM might behave abnormally. I think if you take it just above 30%, that should go. No, it hasn't. All right. I think there is a certain percentage where it says that, but you can pretty much ignore that. So yeah, that is it for the fan. So you can do all your individual settings there. Or alternatively, you can use the Frozr AI cooling. You can enable that. So that will kind of grey out most of it other than your CPU fan and your pump fan. Those will still stay as they were. But the Frozr AI cooling will control your system fans. See the ones that are greyed out? So if it goes for performance, and then apply, and it's probably not going to change a great deal. No, it's basically staying the same because we're not really doing anything. But you've got your system fan there, so you can adjust that again in the AI cooling. Choose what you want it to do. It seems to me the Frozr AI cooling, the performance mode seems to make it a little bit kind of worse, if anything, but you can go in and you can change these individual settings. I honestly don't like Frozr cooling. I don't think it's a particularly useful thing, so I leave that disabled. But you've got a graphics fan tool as well, so if your graphics card supports it, you can use the zero Frozr, so that turns off your graphics card's fans when they're under a certain temperature. Or if you want to boost it, so you're doing some benchmarking, click on start and you'll hear in a second the GPU fans going nuts on my graphics card. And that'll last for about 30 seconds, or is it a minute? I can't remember, one of the two. Yeah, 30 seconds. Like with all this stuff, you click on the buttons there, you get options of what it is. So on for that is tranquility, off is enhanced cooling mode, so that'll just mean the fans are running all the time. So if you apply that, I don't think they're going to spin. If they are, they're going to spin very slowly anyway. Yeah, they're running pretty slowly. If you want to extend the length of your fans, you can do that and click apply. So yeah, that's the basic kind of overview. It's pretty much more of the same. It's just they've added the Frozr AI cooling essentially into the scenario manager. So they just put it all into one section. Anyway, hopefully that was moderately entertaining. It probably wasn't, to be fair. So yeah, I do need to update the video I did on that, because that is now somewhat out of date, because all the ones that I've done were based around that scenario thing. Alexa says if it's not in the BIOS, I don't need it. fair enough.
Hello, Candy. Are you okay?
Night Nefarious Leprechaun. David says MSI cooling is okay. I use it all the time. Yeah, it's, like I said, it's basically they kind of taken the Frozzer AI, which was a separate featurette, and the fan control, the system user scenario. I wish they wouldn't just keep duplicating stuff. It's a little bit pointless. And that is the problem with Asus. They have made it so that Armory Crate, there's lots of things which do the same thing, which they don't really need to. And it's all a little bit bloated. And I was hoping that MSI was going to kind of try and go maybe the opposite way and try and make it lighter. That's why they did the feature sets, so you can install which ones you actually wanted to use. Of course, you don't have to install it if you don't want to. You can just do your normal BIOS setup as you would normally. But anyway, there you go. Let's see if there's any comments I've missed or need to address. If you have put a question in the chat and I haven't answered it yet, please feel free to do so, and I will attempt to do that now. Aletta says, oh no, snap today, and I'm only using 1.5 gigabytes of cache. The snap thing is still a pain in the backside. David says, so Mike, do you know your latest version of MSI Sensor? I think so. It installed today, so it should be on the latest version. And do I know it? Sort of. I'm getting to grips with it. There's a lot of bits in there which I don't really look at, or I haven't needed to. Actually, also, my Z890 motherboard that was in the stream PC, it did seem to have a weird bug where every now and then the BIOS would just reset the fans. Like there's an option for in the new MSI motherboards, the new BIOS, it's got a new layout, and there's an option for smart fan or auto, I think it was. So auto would be like DC or PWM, and it would automatically detect, but it always detected it wrong. So I always put it into like the smart mode, which told it was PWM. And for some bizarre reason, almost every time I would reboot, well, not every time, but probably every other day,
that's your brother.
It would just reset. And I changed the settings again, reset it, and it would be, it's just a weird bug with that particular board, I think. So hopefully this will be fine now. David Underhill says, maybe do an update of MSI Sensor video. Yeah, I think I will do. I think it needs doing. Welly Bob says, question Mike, 13th gen Intel versus your 265K in your use case. Which is better? 13th gen was okay. It was weird. 12th gen was pretty decent. 13th gen was a little bit weird. 14th gen was pretty good. So like the 14700K is effectively roughly the same as the 13900K, but using less power. So there was a little bit of an improvement there. Obviously cheaper as well. Yeah, it's hard to say. I think the 265K arguably is better than the 13900 and the 14700K. I haven't tried the 14900K, so I don't know for sure with that. But yeah, the 265K, as far as I can tell, is better than the 13900. Although I don't do a lot of gaming, so. But in normal tasks, Windows itself feels really nice and snappy. It's nice. It feels like I said it before. It's like it's had an oil change. It just feels a little bit more slicker, which I like. I like that feeling, especially if you've got a high refresh rate monitor. You get that kind of that liquidity feeling back again. It's really nice.
There's none in there, Mabes. You sit on my chair. I'll get you another bowl.
Viali says, and Ryzen was even better. I don't think it is. It is for gaming, but for general work, everyday use, I would disagree. It's Ryzen, like, I think, actually, let me have a look. I bet the Ryzen 70, the Ryzen 7700 is idling using more power. Actually, I can't really tell on here, can I? Because I'm actually doing stuff, so... Hardware monitor. I'll have a look when we're finished streaming and see what it is, but that's the thing, Ryzen just doesn't handle power efficiently. It really does. It does at the high end and possibly towards the mid-range, but idle is awful. In most people's PCs are idling or doing very limited work. Like, what are we at the moment? Yeah, so at the moment we're using about where are we? We're using about 24% of the CPU, which actually seems high. Or is it? Package. No, sorry, utilization, about 17%. So the CPU is about 17% in use at the moment, but it's still knocking back about 40 to 50 watts. And it's bouncing between 40 and 50. The temps aren't too bad. 46 degrees. 47. So it's not terrible, but yeah, it's up to like 60 watts. Whereas the Intel one will be knocking, say, 30 to 40, doing the same stuff. So it is a significant saving after an amount of time. And it runs cooler as well. Dave Vendor says the 14700 is the fixed version of the crappy 13900. Born Joker says they all work perfectly if you just set the voltages manually. Well, they do, but they don't as well. And like 99% of people, arguably, yeah, probably about almost everybody in the PC market just buys a computer and turns it on and uses it. There's a very, very, very small section of the market which actually make any changes in the BIOS whatsoever. And most people won't want to unless they're somehow forced to do it. So like the typical example is a lot of people come to our videos because their PC's overheating. And then they go and look at the fan tuning videos and stuff like that. But the majority of people won't ever do it as a default thing straight out of the box. Very, very rare. Viali says my 9900X is at 10%, at 10 watts watching this. That's actually pretty impressive. 10 watt idle, that is good. Dave Miller says if 50 watts is a problem, use an Abacus or a clay tablet. That's not really the answer to the problem, is it? I could just turn on the Mac and just use that instead. Yeah, Born Joke says, yeah, you must know what you're doing in the BIOS. There is that to it as well. Sinister Chef says, my girlfriend is running a 14900 KF with a 4070 Ti, and we just updated the BIOS as well, and it's running sweet. Excellent. John David Sullivan says the 285K runs cooler than the 9950 X3D. Yeah, it was weird because when the AMD X3D chips came out, and it was always like, oh, these are great, they're super efficient. For some reason, the 7900 X3D that our son's got on his computer on a B560 motherboard, it really struggles to keep that thing under control. It just seems to always want to hit 90 degrees no matter what I do. I thought it was like the cooler problem or something, but it doesn't seem to be. David Nurse says, like, Expo and XMP is not a lot to set at all. I know, but you'll be amazed at the amount of people that don't bother. Literally, like, it's ridiculous how many people don't bother. And actually, a lot of people don't even know. Like, it's not as if when you buy a stick of RAM, in the box, it actually comes with instructions on how to set it up in your BIOS. It says how to push it in sometimes, like you get a picture of like someone using their thumbs to press them in. But realistically, you don't get any instructions whatsoever. So most people are just like, oh, RAM, in, turn on PC, it works, great, let's play some games. And they don't realise they've got to tune it or turn on XMP or Expo or anything like that. Sinister Chef says, that's my other half. She won't go into the BIOS at all. She will change her RAM and maybe take out her GPU if needed, but that's the extent of it. Yeah, Kath wouldn't ever go in the BIOS unless I told her to and told her what to change. You wouldn't go in the BIOS, would you?
No. Dog and barking comes to mind.
Yeah, whatever, dog and bark yourself. Rick says...
Crotchet, would you?
Yeah, that's true. Rick says, having PCs running 24/7, mostly idle, 100% agree, Intel uses less power by 30% over a week's period on average. That's a lot. Yeah, it is. Well, especially being how robbed we are when it comes to paying for electricity. Mark Gaines, I just swapped out my Trix AIO for a Corsair iQ Titan AIO. Very nice. How's it running? Is it running well? Dutch Jans is BRB. Dave Aiken says 7800X3D is one of the most power efficient CPUs for gaming going. Just been playing The Last of Us and it's jumping between 85 and 100% utilization and sitting around 30 to 40 watts with YouTube in the background. That's pretty good. See, I don't understand how... I'm not sure if George's chip's knackered. I need to try it on another board, really. Maybe when he goes away next, I'll try it. I don't want to touch it because it's working and he's happy. So, but for me, it would drive me mad. Every now and then, especially in these hotter days, go to bed and I could hear the fans on his CPU cooler just like whooshing away. It's like, oh god. And I know how I set them, so they will only kick in that loud if it is like pretty hot. Born Joker says, yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, don't mess with the BIOS, that's for sure. Yeah, it's... even still, just turning on XMP or Expo isn't really always the answer, because quite often you have to go in and turn on enable memory context restore if you want it to boot faster, and also enable memory power down if you're getting problems with it blue screening. So it's not like it's just like flick a switch and it works. Although arguably the Intel platform now is kind of that. You can just turn on Expo iExpo or XMP3 and it just goes, okay. John Davison says, but generally the X3D parts run a bit hotter. Yeah, see, I don't understand why that is. I always thought they were supposed to run cooler because I don't know why, I seem to have the thing in my head. The original X3Ds were like 100 and something watt TDP, and sorry, the original X series were like 105 watts or whatever, and then the X3Ds were like 90. But I don't know. I didn't really pay much attention. I still don't have an X3D chip. George has got one, and I had the AM5 one, but I never actually used it for any period. I don't really have a need for an X3D processor because I don't really, well, I do play games, but having an X3D processor would actually harm the other work I do, so I don't need to do it. Scott, Mike, have you ever looked at fan control? Yeah, we've done a couple of videos on fan control. I do quite like it. Although fan control, again, is one of those things that it's, depending on how you want to use it and how you control your fans and how many fans you've got, it can be a right palaver to get it set up how you want it to, but it depends what you want out of it. A lot of people say fan control is the way to go, but there's like two problems with fan control. One, the user interface, I think, is a little bit clunky. It needs to have, I think personally, a copy and paste. So if you set up a fan profile that you could easily copy and paste it to multiple fan headers, which you sort of can, but you can't at the same time. So you have to make the header or set up the header, then you can drag a curve into it. but it's the kind of the creation of that fan header is the time consuming bit, especially if you've got like 6 fans on 6 headers. It's a real pain in the ass. And also the fact that it uses a known vulnerable piece of software to communicate with the system, which is actively used for kind of hacking and stuff. So it's probably not ideal.
Do you remember that viewer that went really mental with you? Like, what even is a fan curve?
Yeah.
And you did it all
Yeah.
slow for him and he still didn't understand.
I know. Come on, Maisie. Where are you going?
Come on.
She didn't know where she's going. Gonna have a wee.
Stay you to litter if you're ready for bed.
Sky says, yeah, the X3D chips typically run slower megahertz, but more efficiently due to cache. 9000 series almost solved that problem by moving the cache from the top of the CCD to the bottom.
Come on. Do pee-pee and then go to bed.
John David Sullivan says, I want to get an AM5 CPU for my B850 mortar. I don't want to go with another 7700. What do we recommend? The thing is, it's hard to recommend anything else other than it due to the price on AliExpress. If you're just buying from Amazon, then I'd probably go with a 9700X. I think that would be the logical improvement. There's not really a great deal of point going much higher than that, I don't think, really. Depends what you're using it for. But just for gaming purposes, like if you're not going for an X3D, the 9700X is basically perfect. But if you're buying from AliExpress, the 7700 is hard to beat, like 140 quid or 150 quid we were getting them for at one point, which is just insane value for money, because I think they're 250, 260 for the 9700X, or even the 7700X if you buy it from Amazon.
Come on, you can.
Dave Aiken says, Mike, do you have a spare AM5 CPU lying around your place? Yes, I do. I think I've got 2 at the moment. Not many, I need to stock up again. Dave says, I'll drop you a message. All right, no worries. Rasher, was it closed? Is not the best thing to say to your wife when she gets home from a day at the beauty salon. I like that. That's good. All right, Dave. Yeah, I think that's why it's. I want to do something new with AM5, like a different processor, but again, with the 7700s being as ridiculously cheap as they are, it just doesn't make sense to buy anything else, really. It really doesn't. It was a shame, because I do want to try other processors, but like, it's hard to justify spending double the money to get maybe, I don't know, 25% better performance, if that. Now, that is partially a problem of the PC industry these days, that kind of, to get a reasonable uptick in performance, you have to spend a lot of money. Steve says the 9600X is currently on Amazon for about $183.98. £9900X on Amazon, £339. See, I've not long just bought a 7900X, and that was at 220, I think. So like a 9900X for an extra 120 quid isn't going to be 120 quid's worth faster than the 7900X, is it? It's going to be, what, 10% maybe? 15%? Maybe 20 if you're lucky. And what would 20% be extra in price? Like 40, 50 quid.
Fine.
So I'll be paying 40% more. No. I'm not good at percentages. But yeah, basically you're not getting good value for money. Or I wouldn't be. Yeah, Sky says the 7700 is cheaper, more cores, same performance in gaming as the 9600X. Yeah, and cheaper. So yeah, it's cool. I like it. Firephone says eBay bot still good. Yeah, I've not picked up any bargains recently. There's been a few which have flagged up and I've gone for, but I've either been a bit too late or I've lost out on. But I've had some reasonably good deals actually. The RX 6800 that we had in last week's video, that went in the PC that sold today, and yeah, that was a cracking deal. And actually, I think that really was what sold that PC. That was a really nice graphics card. John Doe Sullivan says the 9950 X3D is 630 quid. That is a lot of nuts. Old Bob says, I'm a heavy duty gamer. I play Solitaire and World of Warships. So an X3D chip would be wasted on me, right? Well, I wouldn't say wasted. It's like anything. If it's your hobby and you enjoy it, then yeah, put your money into it and get the best you can. If you're on a budget and you're trying to do the best you can with your money, then yeah, it is, I wouldn't say wasted, but it could be spent elsewhere. Rick Welly Bob says the Ryzen 7700 is a clear winner for any AM5 build. X3D is a cash cow offering gains in gaming only if you're at a set resolution and a certain GPU. Firephone says, Mike, what's your top price to pay for a GPU or CPU? I don't have a top price. I don't set limits like that. It's just if something is a bargain, even if it's more than I would normally pay, I would buy it just because it's a bargain. Because that's how you make money, or you get a cracking deal. So it's like, normally for things like a graphics card, I would generally set my own personal limits as being round about sort of 300 to 400 at the very most. But if someone come along with like a 5090 for 600 quid to 700 quid, I would probably try and get it. Same with the processor. Processor wise, generally with a processor, I like to stay around the sort of 150 to 200 pounds mark if I can. Unless it's like a cracking deal. Like for instance that 7900X which I bought, which is 220. Like I went a little bit over my normal limit because it's like 100 quid less than it should be. So yeah, that was cool. Cheers, Rasher. Yeah, I get you. Old Bob says, here you go, Mike. Spec me an AMD CPU and GPU then. I have a 3K budget. Well, if you've got a 3K budget, you're that's going to be in a weird spot, because if you get the best possible AMD processor and then you want an AMD graphics card, the AMD graphics card is going to be the thing which is probably going to hold you back, because AMD aren't quite there yet. So if you went for a 9070 XT, you'd be looking about 600, 650. CPU, if you went for a 9800 X3D, they're what, 350 motherboard wise. There's a lot of variables in that, but yeah, 3,000 is a lot of money to be putting down at. You could probably do it for about 2 and not make any compromises. Depends on the sort of case you want and things like that, really, though. Maybe actually, if you want to, old Bob, send me a message or email me or on the Discord and just give me a rough idea of the sort of stuff you want, and I'll make a video like using PC Part Picker so others can follow along as well, of a kind of what I would buy in that situation. I'll put a link for the Discord in the chat.
I'm for your Windows key.
So, and for the premium CD keys as well while I'm at it. Yeah, so if you want to do that, I'm more than happy to do that. Yeah, it's a difficult thing. If you've got an idea of a case or whatever, that makes it easier. But there's a lot of things in there, variables, which like, do you want a white PC? Do you want a black PC? Do you care what the colors are? Do you want RGB? Do you not want RGB? Do you want a fish tank case? Do you want a tower case?
I'll interrupt. I have a part picker thingy already done, mate.
Oh, right, cool. Well, if you've got a PC part picker thing done already, you can post that on our Discord if you want to, in the, well, one of the tech rooms, ideally PC builds. Stick it in there and you can get, well, everyone can have a nose in and have a look, see what you're looking at, and maybe make some suggestions, and I can do the same if you want to, or just email me and I'll have a look. Or you can post, actually no, you can't post it here, can you? No, that would be, I don't think you can do that. I would say post it here, but it's time's ticking on actually. It's probably not a good time to start that right now. Shame we didn't say it earlier, we could have had a look, that'd have been good.
Probably did.
I probably did, yeah, I probably missed it. Dave says, Mike, the Antec fans are driving me mad. Clicking bearings at low speeds. How do you rate Thermaltake CT140s? 12 quid for two 140 mils. I like the CT140s, but they are loud when they ramp up. So as long as you don't, as long as you keep them to a certain level, they're fine. I would keep, well, mine are generally like 25 to 30%. As soon as they start going up over about 40, 50%, they are audible. But they do move a lot of air, so. But yeah, clicking bearings at low speeds, that's that's horrendous. Yeah, CT140s. CT140s are pretty good. You looking for the RGB ones or the non-RGB? Because if not, I've probably got some RGB. I've got some non-RGB tough fans. I'll sort you out some of them if you want. I could do with having a clear out if you don't want RGB ones. Or if you do want RGB ones, I could probably find something as well. Old Bob says, I'll email it. I don't know what Discord is. Old Git, remember? Hey, we got loads of old Gits on our Discord. I'm one of them. Calf's the other.
And we've got Colin.
And Colin Hilton.
He's a Git, but
he's not an old Git. He's just an elderly gentleman.
He's in his 80s.
In his 80s, and he can still Discord it with the best of them. Yeah, iRolfin says for 1400 GBP you can get 9800X3D, 64 gigs of RAM, 9070 high-end and X870 board. Yeah, so like £2,000 all in with the power supply, your case, fans possibly, storage. A decent power supply is like, what, 150? Yeah. David Underhill says 3K is a lot for a decent gaming rig unless you get an RTX 5090, and that is its price on its own. Alright, Sinister Chef, please do. Dave wants white, okay. I'll have a look, see what I got. So I was reading lots of old gits over here. It says Skystalker. Thinking of Colin today, is he okay? Yeah, he seems okay. He went on a travel to, I want to say Margate, but it wasn't Margate. It was some other like historic British town he went to take some pictures, I think. I saw him post that on Facebook.
He goes there to post pictures.
No, to take pictures.
Just for he probably went there for another reason and took pictures while he was there.
Yeah, he might have done, yeah. Right, it's coming towards, well, it is actually 11 o'clock. bejesus. So, yeah, I think that will pretty much wrap things up. Unless you've got any last minute dying questions, of which we can quickly answer. Sky says, yeah, OLED monitor. I do look forward to the days where OLED monitors are more responsibly priced, let's say. Because OLEDs, like, don't get me wrong, they're great and the technology is awesome, but that's a lot of money. A lot of money.
3 minutes past midnight for Dutch Jam.
3 minutes past midnight for DJ? Wow. Mike P says, I'm a TV in the living room kind of guy for my PC monitor. I wish I had the room. I would get, if I had the choice, I would have a 42-inch 4K TV on the wall and just sit further back and just, yeah, that'd be me for the day. I'd love that. Susan Robbins says, have a good weekend, Mike and Co. Love you. Bye. No worries. Right, I think we will wrap things up. I'll put some links in the chat. So premium CD keys, obviously, if you want to pick up your Windows keys nice and cheap. Also helps support the channel and you save an absolute fortune. So definitely worth looking at. Also, desk pads, technically stable. I've got a payday deal on at the moment. So 20% off site-wide if you want any desk pads, and also get your own personalized ones. You also got our Discord, link for that. And also for those of you that wish to, if you are slightly leaning one way or another, you can head over and also watch some of our content on Rumble. So I think that is it for me. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your super chats, your kindness, your comments, and yeah, sticking with the channel. We do really appreciate it. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheerio. Bye. Did that work?